Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective.
This morning, the U.S. and Israel launching major combat operations against Iran in the early hours of this morning. Iran has already responded with retaliatory strikes of its own against Israel and other countries in the region, including Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. In a social media post confirming the U.S. attacks, President Trump called for the overthrow of Iran's government and urged the Iranian people to rise up.
Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations.
Forget about the entertainment world. Isn't it just time? Isn't it just time for women to run the planet? I'm not.
Lives of courageous Americans.
Now is your chance to vote against Donald Trump, a man who believes his fame gives him the right to grab one of your daughters.
Brothers and sisters, fans, friends, and good folk from coast to coast, we are living through dark, disturbing, and dangerous times, but
some urgent news. Iran is now saying that they will teach the United States and Israel a lesson they have never received before after Donald Trump bombed them in the middle of the night. According to the
Well. Baby, I'm gonna need this video to circulate every place.
Courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
All right. Good morning. I know everyone is still watching Hal. I was going to wait for Hal to get done, but I didn't know how long he was going to be. And I had a very short intro today. It was only like 4 minutes long or something. Anyhow, welcome to today's show. Thanks for being here, everybody. It's 11:14 a.m. Pacific time zone here in beautiful Las Vegas. We're already at 76 degrees. Our expected daytime high today of 84. The overnight low, 58 degrees. So things are warming up here in Vegas. They say it's supposed to cool back down a little bit, I guess next week or this coming week. Anyhow, yeah, it's warming up. and things are warming up all over, like in the Middle East. And so here we are. So much for the peacetime president, the peace president. I guess we can. Of course, we all knew that that was all a bunch of bullshit, anyhow. But if this doesn't prove it, I don't know what will. This is an unauthorized act of war, and I would urge everyone to contact your elected representatives and tell them to impeach Trump immediately. Impeach him and remove him. So you can call your House reps and tell them to impeach him, call your senators and tell them to remove him. Not that that will get done, but we have to do something. We can't just sit here and not say anything. And poor Phil Ittner, I think he's been out of country too long. Because if you're watching Hal, he just kept repeating and repeating and repeating. Of course, you know that this is stupid. That we won't go into a ground war. It would be stupid. But Phil, we're dealing with a stupid president. We are living under a kakistocracy. Remember that word? That's a new word that we all learned. After the 2024 election, when Trump won, we all learned what kakistocracy meant. When he started appointing these fucking lumpheads, these worm infested fucking cabinet secretaries, you know, like RFK Jr., who really is worm infested, and stupid drunks like Pete Hegseth to be the sec def. We are under a kakistocracy. We are being led by a bunch of fucking morons. So, with all due respect, Phil Ittner, everything that you said, it would make sense under a normal fucking presidency and under a normal circumstance. Normal has fucking left the train station fucking ages ago. As soon as Trump became president, actually in 2016, normal is left. There is no more normal. And we are not under an administration that has any type of normalcy. This is about, and this is what this is about. This is wag the dog bullshit. Because what have we not talked about for the last, 12 hours? We haven't talked really anything about Epstein. And this is just this meme really isn't what I'm talking about, but it's to take all this focus off of Epstein. That's what I believe it is. We're going to take all the focus off of Epstein. Like I just heard Hal allude to, when you're in the Epstein files a million times and you're facing all sorts of allegations, really, really horrible allegations, I suppose if you had the power, if you had the U.S. Air Force at your disposal, you might just go ahead and use that to take the focus off of rape allegations, and even worse than rape, believe it or not. If Bill Clinton can testify about Epstein before Congress, so can Donald Trump. And we've seen Hillary Clinton, they dragged in there. But they won't drag in anybody else. This is a total fucking whitewash. It's a total. And also now you can see that I think the Republican strategy is basically to just blame everything on Epstein, pin it on the dead guy who can't defend himself. Not that he I'm not saying that that Epstein is innocent or anything like that, but pin it all on Epstein and make anyone who is involved, who went to Epstein Island and may have participated in the activities there, they were all victims of Jeffrey Epstein, who was running this big, as was it what's her face, Anna Paula Lampua, Loompa, whatever the fuck her name is, was calling it, I guess, a big honeypot operation. That's what they're doing. They're steering it all to that these guys are all victims. Well, fuck that. That's bullshit. And now we are, along with Israel, are going to bomb the fuck out of Iran. There's already at least 200 people dead. I'm sure it's much more than that already. I mean, with every bomb that goes off, how many people are being killed every single time? If we ever wonder why or how, terrorists are created, who grow up and become terrorists because of their hatred for this country, for our country, for the United States of America, it's because of shit like this. When your apartment building or your house or your school or your hospital gets bombed and your parents get killed, or your sisters, or your children, or whatever the case may be, you probably don't really give a fuck about the internal mechanisms of the United States government and the United States political machines. You probably don't really give a fuck about who's a liberal and who's a conservative, who's MAGA, who's a progressive. You don't really give a shit about any of that. You just see the United States of America as being the fucking enemy, the fucking monsters that came in and killed your loved ones. So if we ever wonder why there's terrorist groups attacking us, well, we need to look no further than what's going on right now with our warplanes, our fighter planes, with our American emblems, our red, white, and blue, our USA stamped right on the side of our planes. We need to look no further than that. Other than that, I have no opinion. It's fucked up. I think this is fucked up. Totally fucked up. And I don't know how we stop it. I guess we can't, but all we can do is, I think, somehow, some way, it needs to be known that I think most of us don't condone this shit, and that we want Donald Trump to be held accountable. Anyhow, thanks for being here, guys. I do see Sandy's here, Vasantha Elf is here, Paul Burrows up there in Idaho is here, Doug's here, Michael McAndrews, the executive producer, with a $2 super chat. Yippee! Thank you, Michael. I do appreciate you. Says, let's go. Is Dumpy Stump in prison yet? Unfortunately not, Michael. And I am very hesitant to believe that he ever will see the inside of a prison. He may be seeing the inside of a pine box sometime soon, but a prison cell, I don't think so. I've given up hope on that. But that doesn't mean we stop investigating. That doesn't mean we stop prosecuting. He should be prosecuted He should be found guilty. Whether or not he actually ever gets frog marched into a prison cell, I don't know. David Weiss from Denver has become a driver. Yippee, David Weiss! Thank you so much for becoming a member of the Trucker John live stream. I do appreciate you for doing that. DPD is here. Hello, DPD 5844. Thanks for coming on in. Yeah, DPD says, I didn't like Phil's comments regardless to if boots are on the ground or not. People will still die. Innocent people will die. The Guardian has reported 80 children have been killed because of the regime. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And look, I love Phil Littner. I think he's a great guy, and he didn't say anything that was really wrong. But I don't think he was. I think maybe he's very exhausted. He's been under bomb threats of his own in Ukraine. I think I don't. But yeah, he's missing the point. Whether or not there's ground troops or not, this is horrible. And he did say that this was horrible. He just didn't think that this was going to lead to a ground war or whatever, and that this was it's not going to accomplish anything other than we see there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of really just unnecessary deaths. And I think it's just mainly a big distraction against Epstein. This is something also that Netanyahu has been wanting to do, and Trumpy and Netanyahu are buddies. We know that for Trump, everything is kind of like he doesn't do anything for no reason. Like, he helps out Netanyahu. Netanyahu gives him, the best property in Gaza to build Trump hotels on, or some kind of shit like that. I do want to welcome the sparklers. I do see that you guys just jumped over. Thank you so much for being here. If you would consider liking, subscribing, and sharing, that would be great. As I always like to say, we need to act like good Democrats. We have 245 watching, only 27 thumbs up. So that's a horrible, horrible deficit. So let's get to be more like good Democrats and get us to at least a balanced budget. So if you would hit that thumbs up, that would be great. I would appreciate it. Today, kind of starting off on a really serious note here. I think this bombing of Iran should not be taken lightly. I think this is impeachable offense. I urge everyone, whether you live in a red state, blue state, red district, blue district, it doesn't matter. I urge everyone, call your representatives. Call your House reps and tell them you want them to introduce articles of impeachment against Donald Trump for this unauthorized act. And call your senators and tell them you want them to vote to remove this cocksucker. And I don't care if they're red or blue, just do it. And we're in the minority, like Hal said, we are in the minority. But that doesn't mean we can't pick up a phone and make a phone call and let our voices be known, our thoughts be known on this. Lest anyone think that our silence is some sort of approval. It's not. I don't think anyone approves of this. Anyone with half a brain. And I think I have at least half a brain. I think this is just, I kind of, and to be honest, I didn't think that Trump was actually going to go through with this. He's been, flirting with it or hinting about doing it, and I thought he was going to taco out. And so let that be a lesson to me, I guess, and to anyone else who thought that. Um, that I guess because going to this air campaign, it is a lot less time consuming. Like Phil was saying, if you're going to do ground troops, you got to have staging areas, and it takes months and months and all that kind of stuff. Something like this, it's almost like just it's like pushing a button. It's like, okay, yeah, let's send them over. Let's send our Air Force over and start bombing them. So it was kind of an easy thing. I'm sure Netanyahu was a big influence. Trump wants to help his buddy, and like I say, it's all transactional though. It's all transactional. Trump is probably already eyeing exactly where he wants to build his hotel in Gaza. Some kind of shit like that. John Glad's here. Always glad to see John Glad. Anna Moore's here. Hello, Anna. Good to see you. Anna Moore says, hello, TJ and fellow trucklers. My prayers to go to the American families with children in the military. My prayers, go out to our military people and the families. My prayers go out to just to the civilians in Iran. We've already lost hundreds of people. They've already lost hundreds of people. I mean, it's so unnecessary. War is supposed to be, at least my view, as a last resort. And no matter what you want to call this is a war. I mean, you can call it. They might try to sugarcoat it and say this is a military action, or what. I don't know how. They might not even want to ever say the word war, like Trump, especially because he's supposed to be the peace president. But this is war. When you lob bombs onto another country, that's a fucking war. And those things are supposed to only be, I think, as a last fucking resort. And all too many times we've seen where, especially with these Republican presidents, where it's a matter of convenience, or it's a matter of either wagging the dog. George W. Bush did the same thing. So this isn't the first time we've seen this. Sandy Foltz with a $2 super sticker. Yippee, Sandy Foltz. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming in with that. And we also have Fancy with a $2 super sticker. Thank you so much, Fancy. We're 3/5 of the way on the goal there, so thank you so much. Michael McAndrews is here. Yeah, Michael McAndrews already said hello to Mike. Anna Moore says that the Teflon Don is still running around creating havoc and putting our soldiers in harm's way. Karina says Texas Paul. Where's Texas Paul? Texas Paul, is he here? I don't see Texas Paul here, but hello, Karina, by the way. No, I am not Texas Paul. I don't have a cowboy hat. Maybe if I wore a cowboy hat, I don't know. RC 5942 says Epstein Fury War. Yeah, I've seen that meme going around. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, and I just feel I feel horrible about people dying so in such a carefree. The president, our president, like it or not, he is our president. I know a lot of people will say he's not my president, but like it or not, this is the president of the United States. And this isn't the first time that this has happened, obviously, where we nonchalantly, sent our our military and innocent people get murdered. This is like murder, man. Let's stop whitewashing this and call, this is fucking murder as far as I'm concerned. How many more people is Donald Trump going to murder? It's sad, man, and it breaks your heart, and it makes it like it's so gloomy. I hate to be doom and gloom, and I try to be positive. I try to, but even me, good old positive Trucker Joe. This is fucking horrible, man. It's the same thing. We're acting no better than Russia. On one of the first days of Ukraine's invasion into Ukraine, I think one of the first things they hit was a maternity ward at a hospital. And babies, infants, newborns were murdered. Mothers, pregnant women were murdered on the first day of Vladimir Putin invading Ukraine. And we're no better than that. Donald Trump, someone just reported it in this chat, and I have no reason to not believe them, that 80 children have been killed. And that's just the start. Every day that this goes on, there's going to be more and more and more children, civilians murdered. This is fucking murder. When you have there's no just cause. If Trump really cared about Iran having nuclear capabilities, he would not have torn up the deal back in his first term. This is performative, and this is bullshit. David Willer says, "Howdy, John. He won't be in jail, but in court every day." Talking about Trump. Petrazi 1920. Petrazi 1920. Hello, Petrazi. Good to see you. Yeah, a transactional. That's the word I was trying to come up with, Otis George, and then I did eventually find it in the cobwebs up here of what's left of my brain. Yeah, it's just transactional. There's Fancy. Vicky Gordon's here. Hello, Vicky. Vicky says it's always about the grift, not about lives. And they, I guess they, Trump and politicians and our elected representatives, they seem to take these lives so lightly. As long as it's not their own, as long as their own family and isn't at risk, or they don't see them as risks, they don't really seem to care. They don't seem to put lives in the part of the equation. They don't really give a fuck. Only if if the calculation is that it will somehow help hurt them politically or something. Aaron West is here. Hello, Aaron. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. I do appreciate you for coming on in, being taking care of some of the mod duties. Appreciate you. Alvin Stoob's here. Hey, Alvin. Good to see you from, I believe, somewhere in the great state of Texas, the greater Dallas-Fort Worth area. Vicky Gordon says, just how long does the impeachable list need to be? Really? Yeah, just add this one to the list, right? Petrazi 1920 says, Trump is drunk with power. He has to be stopped. And the only way I see that we can really stop him is by making sure we vote in November. Show up in November. Flip the House. Flip the fucking Senate. I don't want to hear this like the Senate's out of reach. Fuck that bullshit. Flip the Senate. Otis George says the Republican senators are interpreting our silence as approval. Let them know otherwise. Exactly. That's another thing I was trying to say in my brain. I was trying to articulate. Yeah, don't let them confuse our silence of being approval or whatever. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure I've already seen some protests trying to get organized to protest this. So if there's a protest nearby, go to it, support it. You know. Kathy Patrick says this is a terrorist this is a terrorist action against the Iranian people. Yeah, now we're the terrorists. Not that we haven't been before. I think the invasion of Iraq, I think, was a terrorist act too, under Bush. Vicky Gordon says he's doing this for BB Bud, amongst other reasons. William's here. Hey, William. Says hello, Trucker, and everyone else. Hello, William. Haven't seen William in a while. Edward Cooley says, I haven't seen anyone who supports this. I thought the same thing, but it's a lot of money for nothing. The only people, I guess, that are going to support this are going to be the Republicans in Congress and MAGA. I think MAGA will go along with anything. But we need to be, I think we need to be in the streets protesting this just as much as we were protesting ICE, against ICE and things of this nature, and No Kings. I'm pretty sure No Kings is probably going to have some stuff coming up just to protest this. One Vision's here. I mean, I have not seen One Vision in forever. With a $5 super chat, yippee, going out to One Vision. Thank you so much. There's a thumbs up for you and a heart. See, One Vision says, "Hearse my hat in hand. Everybody has a bad day. Take care, buddy." Thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you, One Vision. Absolutely. Thanks for being here. DPD says, have you not heard Hakeem and Chuck? They are for it. However, they disapprove of the way it was handled. So what the fuck? Edward Cooley says, can't call this a police action. No. Well, I suppose when you take tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or how many thousands of dollars from AIPAC, then maybe you would be for this, I guess. And I'm referring to at least Jeffries. I don't know about Schumer and if he takes AIPAC money. I know Hakeem does. David Willer says if they hit a carrier, he'll declare martial law and escalate about August. TBD, he's not my president. He may not be your president, but he is the president of the United States, like it or not. Susie Ann Jones, House Sparks Ray. Thank you, Sparklers. I do appreciate you coming over. Might you consider subscribing? Would be awesome if you haven't subscribed, and hitting a thumbs up and hitting a share button would be awesome. Thank you, Susie, for coming on over. John Glass says, when the planet says no more, all Americans will suffer. Michael McAndrews, it's murder. Yeah, and that's what I've been saying. Yeah, it's murder. This is fucking murder. We're going to add that to the list of, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is giving Genghis Khan a run for his money, I think, in terms of a leader who's responsible for, the deaths of so many people. Petrozzi says, I like the way your Italian comes out when you say my name. Petrozzi. I try. I do my best. DPD 5844 says, did anyone see what is happening on the USS Gerald Ford? The ship has been out to sea for over 248 days. The plumbing is backing up and the soldiers are living on top of their own waste. Disgusting. I did not see that. I have not seen that, and that is disgusting. And why? Why? The greatest military in the world, right? They can't figure out a way to just swap out, bring another ship out and bring that one back to port and let them clean their fucking toilets and shit. I mean, come on. But, I guess that's what happens when you have a drunk ass dipshit like Pete Hegseth as your SecDef. Josh sees us here. Good to see Josh. Always good to see Josh in the driver's lounge. Good to see you. Vicky Gordon says, let's make sure when they haul Trump out in his straitjacket, it's orange. Hang for is not happy. I'm just going to say that, and neither am I. So about this. Danny Pomeroy's here. Danny says that both chambers are very reachable. John is correct. Oh, thank you. Today's society is built for one group of people in America, and over half of them billionaires don't even live in America. Really? Talk about cunts. Someone earlier was using the cunt word, the C word. I would say those billionaires are a bunch of cunts. I try to work the word cunt into my live streams at least once per show, and I've already exceeded my limit probably. Belfast Bob's here. Hey, Belfast. Is this where you're hiding? Good evening, TJ chat and mods. This is where I'm hiding. I'm hiding right here in plain sight. I'm hiding in plain sight. So I didn't really get a bunch of memes. I just sort of copied. That's the one that I have for the thumbnail. I guess I should have had that up since we were talking about the invasion or whatever you want to call it. Or it's not really an invasion because we don't have land troops, boots on the ground. But it certainly is invasive and horrible and wrong. Susie Ann Jones says Iran kills their own people and don't need our help. Now, Trump was imploring. Is that the word, imploring? I guess the Iranian people to use this opportunity to rise up and take over the government or whatever. Do you guys see that happening? I mean, I guess it could happen. As long as the Iranian people aren't all dead, being blown to bits. He tells them to stay indoors, and while this is going on, I'm not sure if that helps you from a bomb, the type of bombs that we have. But do you guys see that happening? I mean, that would be a good thing, and I guess Trump would take credit for that. If the Iranian people were able to rise up and overthrow the Ayatollahs. I think there's more than one, right? It's a whole kind of group of them. I mean, there is one major Ayatollah who's like the supreme leader bullshit, right? Could that happen? Do you guys foresee that happening? I mean, if that did happen, I think that would be a good thing, right? But is there any chance of that? What do you guys think? Because I'm a little fuzzy on that. Hey, Hangforth. Okay, I get it. I agree with the sentiment that we're killing children, and I'm from the start of this live stream, I've kind of said that from the very top, that this is awful and horrible, and that this is murder. But you don't need to spam us with the same thing over and over again. Just saying. Vicki Gordon says, can you imagine how the low morale they must have on that ship about now? Yeah, if I was sitting in my own waste for 248 days, maybe it wasn't the whole 248 days, but even for the last 30 days, or even for the last one day, my morale would be about, shot. And especially since we are supposed to be the biggest, baddest, greatest military in the world, where we spend more on our military than the next 10 major countries combined or some bullshit. I would be, if I was a seaman on that aircraft carrier, that's all I would be thinking about. We spend nearly $1 trillion a year on military, and we can't get the fucking toilet situation situated. I'd be like, fuck this shit. Give me a life raft. I'm out of here. I'd go AWOL out in the middle of the fucking ocean, man. Everett Tauscher is here. Hey, Everett, good to see you. It says Trump has bloody little hands. Yeah. Belfast Bob, Genghis wouldn't turn around and sue you. No, he'd just like chop your head off and then fuck your wife or something. Josh says, Everett, he's probably got a bloody diaper too. That's gross. That's gross, Josh. Hey, Gary Johnson is here. Says the Clintons call him out in front of Congress and suddenly we attack Iran. Yeah, it's all things were probably just getting a little too close for Trump with regarding the Epstein files. Trump can go out and say he's been exonerated all he wants. And Anna Lampua Oompa Loompa, whatever the fuck her name is, I think she even said that the testimony has exonerated him and all this shit. They can say that all they want, but it's not true. There's so many allegations in these files, just of what we've seen, let alone all the stuff that's been redacted. All those pages that are just completely black, I think it's okay to assume that that's all about Trump and allegations against him doing some really even more horrible than SAing minors. I mean, I think up to and including murder. So that's probably has a lot to do with why we're doing this right now. Oh, Susie Jones sabotaged because they weren't given leave for 6 months. Like they sabotaged their own septic system or whatever in hopes of maybe that getting them returned to shore or something. Maybe, yeah. DPD says, maybe we have an issue with our elections. What the fuck? No one is talking about the orange pedophile making statements such as Iran interfered in the 2024 election. He wants to declare an emergency. Yeah, he's already declared. What was it? Didn't he do an executive order trying to ban, was it mail-in voting or something? He's trying everything he can. Yeah, your DPD, you're right. He is trying everything that he can to either stop these elections in 2020, the midterm in November, or severely cripple them. He's doing everything he can. I completely agree. Whether or not he can pull it off, I don't know. But I think everything is kind of directed at that. because he knows that if the Republicans lose Congress, that he knows he's cooked. At least in terms of, maybe not so much that he's going to go to prison, but at least in terms of his presidency, it will be done at that point. And so, yeah, I agree. He's doing everything he can to either stop it or severely cripple the midterm elections. Edward Cooley says the new Secretary of Navy has no military background, but he has a nice art collection. What the fuck? DPD says, Vicky Gordon, this has to be the worst time in history to be a military service member, especially when the enemies are within our own government. I think so, because the first thing I thought, I kind of flashed back to Vietnam. That wasn't too great either, but getting sprayed with Agent Orange, coming back with all kinds of cancers and shit. But this is such a what Trump is doing is such a like blatant, it's just so blatant. Belfast Bob says it could be, no, it could, but is U.S. coordinating with them as bombs are flying, and they don't know, and they don't like if take over government building, but it's a target for U.S. or Israel. It'd be messy. It'd be messy. If I could do a good Irish accent, I would do it right now for Belfast Bob. But it'd be messy. I have a terrible Irish accent. Otis George says, I thought that Trump rebuilt the military. He always says so. Yeah, because it was a mess when he got it. When he got it from Biden, it was a mess, right? Everything was a mess. And now it's the best. Now it's the best. It's the best. Vicky Gordon says, notice how Trump always does this crap on a Friday and then hide all weekend. Coward that he is. The Flix capacitor, not to be confused with the Flex capacitor, says, remember when, a few months ago, when he obliterated Iran's nuclear capability? Yeah, really. Boy, they sure did rebuild. They're like busy little beavers over there in Iran, aren't they? They're just some busy little beavers. They're apparently. So much so that we had to go and bomb them. Belfast Bob says I think we're talking about the Iranian people and rising up and taking over the government or overthrowing the Ayatollahs. Belfast Bob says they have the numbers, but against an armed security service or paramilitaries, and they've no weapons, it'll be a shit show. We're a bloodbath. So yeah, Belfast Bob is a no. We'll put Belfast Bob as a no as far as whether they could do that. If the Iranian people can overthrow the current government structure there. Edward Cooley says CHT lines were clogged with clothing. Josh C says, I can't phrase what it is I want to say in chat. Okay. Give it a shot, Josh. Give it a shot. I've never let my inability to phrase things stop me. Luck Dragon's here. Hey, Luck Dragon. Lug Dragon says, I woke up to a war? Luckily, I got to talk to my daughter and granddaughter for over an hour. Happy birthday to me. Oh, Lug Dragon, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, Luck Dragon. Happy birthday to Luck Dragon. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Edward Cooley says, you're right. He is doing everything he can, so we need to keep it up. 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 Keep up the pressure. Keep up the Epstein investigations, the Epstein, let's keep the pressure on getting unredacted. The perpetrators that are perpetrating this shit, they need to be unredacted. Let's keep that pressure up. Let's keep all the pressure up. Absolutely. Don't let up. Let's not let up. The Fox Pastor says, wake up. In July 2024, Trump said that if they voted for him this time, they would never have to vote again. Yeah, I remember that. I remember when he said that. I absolutely remember that. And I remember me and a lot of people were like, what the fuck? What the fuck does that mean? We'll never have to vote again. And we've been talking about, even before the election, about how Trump wanted to be a dictator. I remember talking about that. Yeah. Back then, during the campaign. I remember almost getting into a fight at a Trump rally because of that. DPD 5844 says, bravo to Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, for having the courage to tell Hegseth and Pentagon to go fuck themselves. However, boo to Sam Altman for allowing OpenAI to be used by the military. I guess we need more Dario Amodeis. Look, Dragon says, I'm 53. The only thing I want to hear from now on is how boring that birthday must be. Vicky Gordon says, Trump and his minions are such idiots. Like, this is going to raise his numbers, not. Yeah, I don't see this doing anything to improve his or to raise his approval numbers overall. Again, I don't see this as being a reason he did it. I think he did it just to really mainly to distract from Epstein. I think that really is the main thing, and that the transactional stuff we talked about with Netanyahu. Look, Dragon, in 2 years I will be blasting Sammy Hagar all day long. Why can't you do that now? You could do that now, right? I don't think Trump has outlawed Sammy Hagar yet. Danny Pomeroy says MAGA is spiritually bankrupt and morally a traitor to we the people in anything constitutional rights. MAGA is a cult. MAGA is a fucking cult. And, so they're going to follow their leader all the way to the end. The Flix Capacitor says Iran has been 2 weeks away from nukes for the last 30 years. Ask Israel. Trump is Bibi's bitch. Trump is a lot of people's bitches. I think he's Putin's bitch. Mainly. I think I think Trump's main would it be daddy? Is Trump? I mean, is Putin? MJ Daniels here. Hey, MJ from up there in Washington State. I haven't seen MJ in a while. MJ says, no different than the first Bush imbecile doing this in Iraq. Fucking insanity and just the stupidity I expect from DJT and his clown show. Like I said earlier, I didn't think he would actually go through with it. I thought he would taco out. But I think his fear of Epstein overrode everything, you know? Belfast Bob, do kids still get bumps on birth? By bumps, do you mean spankings? Maybe in Ireland they call a spanking a bump. Or is that the 80s before health and safety? I don't know what you mean by bumps now. Yes, but if we're talking about spankings, that's been around forever, way before the 80s. Unless you're talking about doing lines of cocaine, a little bump. I don't know. I've never seen that as a tradition at kids' birthdays, at least for the kids. MJ Daniel, this is nothing but reality TV, snuff porn for the imbecile MAGA base. They can start as many illegal wars as they want. Epstein is not going away. That's true. Epstein is not going to go away, Trumpy. And unfortunately, he's going to keep trying, and every time he tries, it ends up in people getting killed. Whether it's in the streets of Minneapolis, or whether it's in Iran, whether it's in Venezuela, off the coast of Venezuela and around there, killing, for all we know, innocent fishermen, because we haven't seen any really proof provided that those were actual drug dealers transporting illegal drugs. I haven't seen any proof shown on that. I think well over 150, 160 people have been killed in those operations. So everything that Trump does to try to distract from Epstein ends up in people getting killed, innocent people. I certainly believe that Renee Good and Alex Preddy were innocent. I believe that these boats off of Venezuela, I think those were innocent people. Prove me wrong, Trump. Prove me wrong. I'm gonna just say that every single one of those were just fishermen. So fuck you, Trump and Hegseth. And now we're seeing the bombing in Iran, and we know that children are being killed, and they certainly are innocent. So it's really disgusting. Really disgusting. I want to thank everyone for giving me the thumbs ups. 139 watching, still only 73 thumbs up. So we are acting a little bit skeezy, like skeezy Republicans, I would say. I hate to say that. Let's get to acting a little bit more like good Democrats and get us to at least a balanced budget or to a balanced thumbs up budget. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up, please do get us to a balanced budget. I really don't like acting like a skeezy Republican. It makes me feel like I just need to go get a shower going, or something. Belfast Bob, doesn't U.S. or Israel know you've given leader what all death cults crave or hope? Death. David Wheeler, did Musk fill out Georgia ballots or just registrations? I don't know, David. That's a good question. I haven't looked into that. I remember I just saw sort of a headline about Musk and pre-filled. I think the way they worded it in the headline was like, I think they said pre-filled ballots, but I need to look up into that a little bit more. James Jaramillo is here. Hey, James, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. James says Operation Epstein smokescreen. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Operation Epstein smokescreen. Look, Dragon says, sorry, I'm back. I keep getting phone calls. I just listened to my granddaughter sing happy birthday to me in Spanish and English. She's 2.5 years old. Oh, that's adorable. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. You're welcome, Luck Dragon. You're welcome. And that must have been a great moment. Don't let this show take you away from those moments. If your granddaughter is calling you, definitely take that call. Josh C says, I predict other countries will indict this administration and eventually Trump will step too far and many of his former supporters will revolt on him. It's going to get to the point where if Trump ever does and try to leave the country in sort of self-exile or run away from the law, I think the only two places he can go is either Russia or somewhere like this in Saudi Arabia. You know? Maybe Argentina. I don't know. DPD says, can anyone find anything in the mainstream media about Musk being reprimanded for false ballots in Georgia? They are saying he violated their election laws, and yet he only receives a slap on the hand. I don't even know if he's gotten a slap on the hand yet. I mean, have they even done anything? I don't even know what they're doing. Again, Georgia, Republican governor. Now we have two Democratic senators there in Georgia, but of course, the election and voting apparatus is handled by the state. You've got what's his face as governor, and their whole state, you know, their AG, their voting departments, everything, that's all Republican. FS Bob says, mates all grab you and bump you of ground. Oh, is that what you're talking about? Bump? Oh, yeah, I never heard of that. That was probably an Irish thing. That sounds like an Irish thing. You Irish are rowdy. You rowdy Irish. One Vision says, remember when he was going to invade Panama, then Canada, then Greenland, then Cuba, then the Caribbean? By my count, because Trump always wins, Iran 55th state. That is hilarious. Josh C says TJ is correct on the burden of proof. Okay. Josh C says it was must pack so he can pass the blame. DPD says, and TJ, when my husband and family and I traveled to Thailand in October of 2018, it was during the rainy season. The days were warm and the nights were cooler. Okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering, because I've heard that even last night, there was a fellow taxi driver at where I work who's from Thailand, and he was saying that if you make $1,500 a month, you could live like a freaking king in Thailand. And I'm like, I could make $1,500 a month. US dollars. I wouldn't mind going to Thailand and living like a king. I guess I would just stay indoors a lot and run the AC because I'm a king, so I could do that. Believe me, if it wasn't so far away, I would. That's another thing, the humidity, but the fact that it's like, what is it, like a 20-hour flight? And I think you have to. I don't think there's any really direct flights back to the U.S. I think you got to go to like Japan and then or something, and then you got to then come over. Uh, and the fact that my kids, they're adults, but I still want to spend time and see my kids, and they live in California, and it could get a little pricey. Those plane tickets aren't cheap. So even the like the 22-hour flight isn't, or whatever it is one thing. But then it's not so easy. Like, it's not so easy to come and visit my kids and stuff. So that's why I'm afraid if I went to Thailand, I would never see my kids hardly ever again. But at least now I'm just a few hours drive. I can go down there. They can come up here. So that's probably even the bigger reason than the humidity. But the idea of being able to live like a king off of $15 a month is a very enticing one. And I have thought about maybe doing it, maybe just temporarily. Maybe get some dental work done while I'm there. I hear that they have really good dental facilities and stuff there, and for like, a tenth of the cost that would be here in the States to do. So maybe, who knows? We'll see. Definitely, I'm not saying permanently, but maybe I will go down there and live there for 9 months or a year and to get all my dental work done. It's either that or Mexico for the dental work, and I've also thought about there's some expat communities in Mexico. Now we're hearing about all this stuff with the in Puerto Vallarta with the drug cartels revolting, I guess, and setting off a lot of bombs or at least burning stuff, setting fires in Puerto Vallarta, sort of in protest of this killing of their drug lord leader guy. But so I don't know. Who knows? Fafo YT. Hey, Fafo YT. Not sure if I've ever seen you in here before. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Fafo YT says it sounded like it was pre-filled registrations intended to put people into Republican primaries. Intended to put people into Republican primaries. So a pre-filled registration, I don't see how that does anything. Registrations, unless the people who register actually vote, then I don't see how that affects anything. Registrations are really nothing other than getting people on the voter rolls. And then those people, if they are real people, then I guess they will go and vote, or not. They might not vote. So if it was just registrations, then I could see how that would be a slap on the hand, because it really doesn't do anything. It is illegal, probably. I'm sure it is illegal to fraudulently fill out a registration form. But unless that actually led to votes or something, then I don't. And even then, well, yeah. So I could see how that's just a slap on the hand. I don't think that really did anything to the election. I don't think that turned, especially in Georgia, didn't. Well, I don't know. I guess Trump won Georgia, right? This time, but yeah, I don't know. If there was actually something to it, I think we would see more action on it. If there was actually something that definitively showed that it led to taking away votes from Kamala Harris and adding votes to Trump or something, but I bet there's nothing there. I bet it's a kind of a nothing burger. But I think it is still illegal, and I think that there should be some accountability for that. Love Dragon. Every time Drugger John takes a sip of coffee, I take a sip of beer. Here you go. Raise your glass. Everyone, this is to Luck Dragon, to his day. Happy birthday, Luck Dragon. I toast you. There we go. Luck Dragon, I'm drunk. Otis George says he would go to Saudi Arabia because there are no golf courses in Russia. Is that true? I mean, I know Russia maybe is harsher temperatures, but they really have they have absolutely no golf courses? DPD says Thailand also has state-run TV like Russia, so hell no for living there. We want to live where Antifa is the norm. To tell the truth, that's something I never even looked into about what their TV is like. I always figured I could just get internet, and I would just 99% of my shit I just watch off of the internet anyhow. So. One Vision. Trump calls it Thailand. Yeah, he would call it that because he's an idiot. Let me go on record right here. Let me make this perfectly clear. Donald Trump's a fucking idiot. All right? One Vision says, well, if you have $50K to bring with you, could hang out eating bugs for a while in a third world country, but not going to earn money there too easy. Look, One Vision, I would live off. Well, you probably maybe didn't know this, but I'm on Social Security, and I could live off my Social Security. In Thailand, a lot of people do that. A lot of retirees do that. Josh C says, I know a guy who retired to Spain, had 3 grandkids, and moved back. Yeah. See, you're so far away, and you've got kids and grandkids. Both my kids are married now. Someday we might have some grandkids coming along. I don't want to be 20 hours away on a really like a $1,500 plane ticket or whatever, one way. I think it's been a while since I checked the plane ticket prices. It's probably gone up since then. I think it's really expensive, the plane tickets. So yeah, that's why I was thinking Mexico might be, that's pretty close. That's really close. So there are places in Mexico that are almost not too much further than my distance now from Vegas to there. So, and Vegas, I mean, the exchange rate isn't quite as good in Mexico as it is in Thailand, but it's still pretty good. Richard, talking about Australia and long plane flights and expats, we have Richard from Australia, who's a U.S. American expat in Australia, says, what is the V stand for in your baseball cap? Stand for, Trucker John? It stands for victory. No, it stands for Vegas. As in the Vegas Golden Knights, as in Las Vegas, Nevada. Golden Knights, the hockey team. Fafaway says pre-filled would have check boxes for rep or dim primaries. So you're saying that if a pre-filled registration, if they check the box for Republican, then they're going to what would that do? Send voter registration, or not voter, but how you get your card, it says you're a registered Democrat or a registered Republican. So that would be sent to wherever the address was on that registration form. Again, I don't see how that affected the election, but maybe I'm not seeing something. So fill me in. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. There's something I'm missing. There must be something I'm missing. And like I said, I think that's illegal, but it might be, we have different levels of legality. We have infractions, there's just citations and infractions, and then there's misdemeanors, and then there's felonies, and then we have different, there are different types of misdemeanors, there are different types of felonies. So on the list or on the levels of legality, I think this might be kind of low, and it might just be something that it would be something that you would fine something, like fine, like levy a fine. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be one. And I haven't, really looked into it, maybe enough, but it is interesting and I think it is something that we should know what happened, you know. Um, I'm not saying we should just sweep it under the rug and not, talk about it. I think we should find out and find out as much about it as we can, I guess. Is Damon Dog the big dog here? Because there's people are saying hi to Damon Dog. I must have skipped. Yeah, there's Damon Dog. Hey, Damon Dog says, "Hey, y'all, just checking in to drop a like. I'm going mod duty at Status Quo News." Oh, you traitor, Damon Dog. Well, say hi to all the Status Quo folks for me. Traitor. Richard, watching from Australia, 6:20 a.m., bright and early. It's a bright and early day for you. I don't know why I'm somewhat of a Irish accent for the Australians. I'm all mixed up. Oh, hey, yeah. Boom, bada, boom, boom. Tell Status Quo that Trucker John said hi. I was watching a lot of their stuff during the Minneapolis ICE takeover, the ICE invasion of the Twin Cities. Got a lot of good coverage from Status Quo during that time. Richard, Trump is a moron. I agree. Josh C says, Richard, it's 6:20 in Australia. I'm guessing you're 3 beers in. Richard, we have free Medicare here in Australia. Rub it in, Richard. Just rub it in. Anna Moore says, I'm drinking a cup of hot cocoa. Here's to you, Lug Dragon. Richard, I was born in Texas in 1947. Lug Dragon says 17 and a half hours. So I guess the flight to Thailand, Lug Dragon is saying about 17 and a half hours. And I believe that includes a layover. I don't think there's direct flights, but maybe there are. But I think you have to go to Japan, and I think you have to either switch planes or there's a layover or whatever, and then you hop on down from there to Bangkok. And then if you're going to the place I was thinking about is Pattaya, which is right on a coastal region. It's a little bay of water there. There's the was it Phuket or something? I don't know. But then you have to either hop a train or a bus or something from Bangkok down to there. So it's a whole process. It's a whole process. Richard says we go by popular vote only. Richard talking about Australia now. Says we go by popular vote only. The Electoral College of voting in America should be scrapped. I agree, and I think if we were, I don't know what the polling is on that, but I would be willing to wager that I think the majority of Americans agree that the Electoral College should be scrapped. But it's just a matter of getting our representatives to get behind it. It takes votes, it takes majorities, then it goes to the states, and you got to get majorities there, and it's not just a waving of the hand. It's a big constitutional amendment type of a deal. But we have amended the Constitution. We have removed things like prohibition, for instance, and we've put things in and removed things before. It's not like it's unprecedented. Damon Dog, I was listening to John and modding them with no sound, much better than all that drum noise at the ICE protest. Yeah, no drumming sounds here. David Dog says at 6 p.m., status quo is going to be at a war protest in Chicago. Josh Sees says if TJ ever goes to Thailand, he's got to go see rice tractor racing and long tailboat racing. It's wild stuff. Yeah, I'll make a video of it, and I'll post it on YouTube, where it will get approximately 28 views. Oh, Love Dragon says, I'm very sorry. Way off. I thought you were talking about Australia. The only time I was talking about Australia was in regards to Richard, who was the expat living in Australia. As far as me becoming an expat, I've been talking about Thailand and Mexico in today's show. Josh Sees did bring up Spain. For those of you keeping score at home. All right now says one of the state of Georgia GOP Board of Electors members' husband is running for Secretary of State in Georgia. One of the state of Georgia's GOP Board of Electors members' husband is running for Secretary of State in Georgia. Okay. Doesn't sound like any conflict there. Richard, get rid of Trump by the 25th Amendment. Again, that takes political bravery or whatever. I mean, so that takes members of Trump's own cabinet to do that. Are they going to do that? David Weiss, flashback to Kids in the Hall. 30 Helens agree. Trump is a moron. I don't think I ever watched. I think I may have watched 1 or 2 episodes of that. So I'm not really in the loop on Kids in the Hall stuff. I don't know what that means. Richard says Trucker John is drumming up some business. I'm not sure what that means. But... drumming up some business for status quo? I don't know. DPD says another nice place to escape to would be Australia. They have beautiful beaches and lovely people. Not sure what their exchange rate is. I'm looking for the exchange rate so that I can live like a king on my $1,500 a month and get some dental work while I'm at it. Done while I'm at it. Look, Dragon, you repeated this. You said in 2 years I will be blasting Sammy Hagar all day, and to which I responded, "Why can't you do that right now? Or unless you're talking about going down to Cabo? Is that what you're trying to say? If that's what you're trying to say, then just say it. You're what, in 2 years you're going down to Cabo or something? I don't know." Nola Carnage is here. Hey, Nola says, "Does anyone believe Iran has nuclear bombs?" I never even think about it. You want to know the truth? It's something I never even fucking think about any of this shit until this shit comes up in the news. But I don't think they do. But I never really think about it. You know? Quesadilla 79 is here. Hashtag. I'll go ahead and edit here. Operation Epstein Fury. Yeah, I've seen that that hashtag, that meme. Absolutely. And we've talked about it earlier about how this is Trump not giving a fuck about how many people get killed in the process, just as long as it can just distract from Epstein and his connection to it. Sandy Foltz, TJ, when are you going to West Virginia? I probably never. I don't know. Damon Dog, I had my iPhone, iPad, MacBook Air, and TV all going at once. All of them old. I can't afford an upgrade. Well, as long as they work, they're doing the job. James Jaramillo, in response to Nola Karn's question of whether or not anyone believes if Iran has nuclear bombs, James says, Nola, I seriously doubt it. They would probably have used it already. That's just a scary thought, though, isn't it? I mean, that is a scary thought. DPD says, no, I don't believe so, Nola. Josh C says, I figure Lutnick is going to say he took his kids and nannies to Epstein Island for the free dental care. You're funny, Josh. You're hilarious. You're hilarious, Josh. And I think I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. Richard says, I'm 78 years old, same age as Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back in the choppa. But are you as jacked as Arnold? I think Arnold is still pretty jacked. You know what I mean? So Damon Dog says, AP, this just in, Israel is claiming they killed Khomeini. Let me see. Let me turn this guy off with the orange shirt. Let's see. I was just going to see if there's any. Here's breaking news. Iran launches strikes after U.S. and Israel launch attack. I'm just attack on Iran. Yeah, it says breaking news. ABC. This is ABC. Israeli officials, Iran supreme leader believed to be dead. What's the old saying? You can cut off the head, but 7 more will grow in its place, or something like that. Damon Dog, $4.99 super chat. Yippee, Damon Dog. Thank you so much. Goal, says Damon Dog. Yes, we made the goal. Yippee to all 5 out of 5. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much there, Damon Dog, and everybody else. So, yeah, according to the news here, the supreme leader is believed to be dead. Of course, I'm going to need to get some DNA on that or something. Okay, so what's going to happen now? So they killed him. Does that mean that Iran now just magically becomes a great place? Does that solve everything? Will the people rise up? I guess we'll just see what happens. Oh, you're talking about, okay, because 55. That's why Sammy. That's why Luck Dragon's talking about Sammy Hagar, because I can't drive 55. Okay, haha. Bob Newell's here. Hey, Mr. Bob Newell, good to see you. Thomas Sebia says, if nukes were used, kiss your ass goodbye. Bob Newell says, your show is excellent. I just smoked a doobie. Smoking a doobie probably makes the show better than it actually is. I guess I recommend it. David Weiss says Axios has an article online. DPD says TJ for lunch, a drink and something to eat usually costs about $25, depending on where you go. $100 would get you a nice dinner or hotel room. Oh, you're talking about Thailand? I think it's much cheaper than that, from what I've seen. I don't know if you're talking about Thailand or Mexico. Anyhow, from the videos, I haven't watched in a while, but I was doing probably a couple years ago, when I was really kind of thinking about doing it. I must have watched 1,000 videos on not just Thailand, but Thailand, Costa Rica, Spain, places in Spain, Mexico. There's a few places, even in the Philippines, I think. And for Thailand, you could get nice meals for like $3 US. Really, and rooms and shit for like $13 and shit. US. The bot is like, whatever that is. David Windler says, if we had boots on the ground, we could install the Shah's son. Well, I don't think we're going to send boots on the ground, and Trump was imploring, if that's the correct use of the word, the Iranian people to rise up and to take over the government, I guess, apparently. DPD 5844 says, do you still think we don't have anything to worry about? You can't continue to invade other countries with impunity and expect for vengeance and bloodshed not to come back. That's one of the very first things I talked about at the top of this show. It was about us creating future terrorists that would act against us. This is one of the very first things I talked about. Josh C says, TJ, your show makes smoking a doobie better. Okay. I guess it's reciprocal. That would be reciprocal, I think. Maybe. I don't know. DPD, no, TJ, I was referring to Australia. Oh, about the $25 dinner and $100 for a room. But that doesn't sound much different than the U.S. So, oh, actually more. I mean, I can get lunch for and drink for less than $25 in Vegas. So. Belfast Bob says, my niece just got 6 weeks in Thailand. For 500 pounds. So what did she get for 500 pounds? What do you mean? Was that the airline ticket? Was that the apartment? Was that the total cost she spent in 6 weeks was 500 pounds? Maybe that's what that is. I don't know. Yeah, Thomas Sebia says, first of all, we don't have enough troops in theater, and Donnie is causing more hate. Exactly. Shrink is here. Shrink 35. Hello, thanks for coming on in. I've seen you before, so make sure you hit the like button if you would, and if you would like to subscribe, that would be great. Anyone who has not done so, please consider subscribing. That would be really, really awesome. And while I'm into this little screen here, I just want to say thank you all very much for being here. You guys are awesome. I do appreciate you for coming in and hanging out. James Ramio, no Carnes, I wouldn't doubt that either. There has to be a reason they stopped allowing inspectors in. The reason they stopped allowing inspectors in, I believe, is because Donald Trump in his first term killed the deal. That was part of that. Remember what was it called? The nuclear thing, had a big long name, and they were doing inspections and all that shit. And then when Trump got into office in his first term, he killed that deal. So they didn't have to do inspections anymore. It was the deal that was allowing the inspectors to come in. But Trump killed all that. Hey, Mr. Spot, good to see you. Live long and prosper, if you would. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up. David Windler says Vegas rooms are $150 a day. ICE gets $700 a day. Well, you got to cover expenses. FS Bob, I forgot how to spell the named country. Well, I think you were talking about Thailand. I think I figured it out. I think it was close enough. I was able to figure it out, So, okay, if they killed the Ayatollah, what does that do to the government? They're just going to put another Ayatollah in there, right? So I don't see how that really does anything. I mean, the only thing is going to change things, I guess, hopefully for the better, is if the Iranian people are able to just rise up and overthrow all the Ayatollahs and all the Imperial Guard and all that bullshit, and just start from scratch, start a whole new government over there. That's really the only thing that's going to, I think, have even a chance of improving. And who knows what their new government might be like? It might even be worse. But I mean, you don't know. We don't know. I guess that's the risk you take when you start a regime change. You never know how it's going to turn out. I mean, look what happened to fucking Saddam Hussein. He was pretty much propped up by the U.S. and then Hussein became an enemy. Josh says, exactly, TJ, they have an established hierarchical system. Yeah, they're just going to put another Ayatollah in there. Unless, like I said, unless the people can somehow rise up. I mean, maybe they don't have the weapons, but they do have the people, as someone said. And how many people live there? I forget the population. Is it 30 or 40 million or something like that? 50 million? If you got 30 or 40 million people that rise up, then I don't care about all the weapons in the world isn't going to stop that. Unless it's total annihilation. Like, you know. Damon Dog, so damn insane equals Saddam Hussein. DPD, kind of like what we should be doing here. So you think we should have our own version of Jan 6? Is that what you're saying? We say that Jan 6ers should be put in jail and what they did was wrong. Marching on our Capitol, shitting on the walls in the Capitol, attacking police officers. Are you saying that's what we should do? I mean, I've called for that kind of thing also in the past, but I do see the kind of would that be irony or what would that be? I mean, is when you think you're in the right, it's kind of a whole different thing, right? Those Jan 6ers, they thought they were in the right, just like you, DPD, and maybe even me, Trucker John, might think that we're in the right if we were to do that. Now, I'm not going to be shitting on the walls anytime soon, but storming the Capitol, storming the Castle Gate. If you think that you're in the right, and that the government is totally corrupt and needs to be overthrown, then I guess you'll justify it. I guess, and that's So just think of that. Thomas Sabia says with the morale police, they have in Iran. I always forget it. Iran. I get probably criticized for not saying it right. Revolt remote chance. Well, it would just take overwhelming numbers to overwhelm them. Yeah, all the people in the front are probably going to get killed, but just keep coming in waves and waves and waves, I guess. Mr. Spock says it appears the Israelis were responsible for his expiration. Of course they were. James Jaramillo, keywords believed to be. Yeah, that's what the Chiron says, believed to be. DPD says, no, not at all, TJ, but I think it's foolish to implement other countries rise up and take back their power and not to do the same, in my opinion. We either wait for them to take us out or something. I think it's a false comparison. I don't think we are anywhere near where the Iranian people are in terms of an actual uprising, an actual physical uprising. It may come to that at some point. I hope not. I hope we can do it through the ballot box. I just don't think that it's a fair comparison as to where we are at in comparison to them. They have an opportunity right now. Maybe they should take it. Like Trump said, you might not have this opportunity for generations. Maybe, a broken clock is right twice a day. Maybe Trump was right about that. But all I'm saying is, DVD, you're saying that we should do basically what the Jan Sixers did. Are you against the Jan Sixers, or do you think they were right? I don't know. DPD, I'm not violent, but just fucking tired and exhausted. I know that's Trump's game plan too, is kind of wearing us down. That's probably how he raped most of his victims, is by wearing them down. I mean, not the ones on Epstein Island; those were like bought and paid for, and so he was like, yeah, there was no wearing down. It was just like, bring me the whore, bring me the whores, and he was going to do with them whatever he wanted. But then I think there are other people, other women that he sexually assaulted and raped, like in the entertainment industry or in the circles that he ran in, that I think he just wore them down until they finally gave in or something. And that's what he's doing to us. He's wearing us down so that we finally just give up protesting. And, that's what he wants us to do that. But like I say, we always say, if you need to take a break, take a break. But we're going to need to be, there's going to be a time where we're going to need to be well rested and ready to go. So if you need to take breaks, take breaks. Mr. Spock, I might have a bonfire tomorrow. I'll go live. Well, that'll be fun to watch. I'll be looking for that, Mr. Spock. We're almost at a balanced budget. It's funny, as the numbers watching go down and the thumbs up go up, at some point they're going to meet. And we will be at a balanced budget. We're at 95 watching and 90 thumbs up. So thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up button. I do appreciate it. Josh C says, don't take a break on voting day, though. No. Absolutely. Do not take that break. Make sure you're registered to vote. Just constantly check your voter registration, because Trump is Trump and the Republicans are doing everything they can to kick people off those voting rolls. So make sure you check that out and make sure you're registered and good to go when the time comes. DPD says, no, the Gen 6ers wanted a dystopian world we live in now. They are happy as clams. They should be, huh? They should be happy as clams, but they sure don't seem very happy. Why are they so angry? MAGA and the Gen 6ers, Trump, why are they always so angry? Why is Trump suing everybody? He's got the fucking House. He's got the Senate. He's got the fucking SCOTUS. He's won the presidency. Why are they so fucking angry all the time and mad? And it's because they're assholes. They're all a bunch of assholes, and they'll never be happy no matter what. They're just sad, miserable, fucking, lumps on a log. They will never be happy because they're fuck nuts. Nothing will satisfy them. Josh sees, vote for your children's future, for fuck's sake. Barbara Nicholas is here. Hello, Barbara. Good to see you. Barbara says he is sitting on his throne, rubbing his hands together, saying next. MJ Daniel says no rest until this entire corrupt and monstrous administration is in prison for life if they are lucky. MJ Daniel, because they were born angry, pathetic cucks. James Armio, which would give Iran the desire to build a nuke? In my prophetic opinion. No, I don't know what the P is. In my purple opinion, in my plum opinion, in my pure opinion. I don't know. Anyhow. All right, guys. Probably going to call it a day. I've got to get to work. I might take a small nap. I don't know. I didn't get home. I didn't get to bed till like 4 a.m. And I did get about 5 hours sleep, I guess. Well, 4 hours, and then I woke up, and then I think I went back to sleep for like another almost hour. I might take a tiny little nap and then go to work. I don't know. I probably should just go right to work. I'm afraid if I take a nap, I might not want to get up. But I don't know. Bob LeBlanc, take off, eh? Eh? Take off to the great white north. Take off. Okay, so yeah, the Chiron, they just keep running. The Supreme Leader believed to be dead. Can we stop the bombing now? When do we stop the bombing? Can we stop now? Was that the goal? Has the goal been achieved? Was there a stated goal? Did they ever state the goal? Other than I just heard it was a preemptive strike, right? Israel was calling it a preemptive strike against Iran to halt their nuclear capabilities or some shit like that. So have we achieved that goal yet? Maybe we still have some more bombing to do. I don't know what bombing apartment buildings and hospitals and schools has to do with it. I'm sure they know where all the nuclear shit is. Just take all that shit out. I thought we were supposed to have such precision that we could bomb, with a surgeon's scalpel type precision. I don't know why we got to be killing kids and civilians. Why aren't they just taking out military targets? Vicky Gordon, can you nap on the bus, or is that impossible? For me, it's impossible. I've seen a bunch of like drunks, or maybe on something else. I've seen them passed out on the bus. But they've had a little help from their substances. But for me, it would be impossible. It's those buses are so fucking rough, bouncing around, and every time they slow down, it lurches you forward, and they go. It's just they're horrible. Yeah, there's no napping on the bus. This is not a comfortable bus. I wish it was, and that would not be a very good nap. I need my bed, and I'm looking at my bed. MJ Daniel, I'm happy to sleep 3 hours before I have to get up to pee. Well, like I've said before I got on the CPAP, and I've been on the CPAP for like, how long has it been? 5, 6, 7, 8? It's been quite a few years now. Time flies so fast, guys. I don't even know. I think it's been at least 5 years. And I was getting up to pee, and this is when I was in the truck, out on the road. I was getting up to pee, and yes, I did use a pee bottle. I wasn't gonna fucking walk across the fucking parking lot at 3 a.m. and get dressed and get shoes on and get jacket on just to go pee. So yeah, I used the pee bottle. Forgive me for living. But I was getting up 2-3 times a night just to fucking pee. But once I got on the CPAP machine, sleep right through. I don't know why. I mean, so I don't know if you can get a CPAP even if you're not diagnosed with sleep apnea. But if you can get a CPAP machine and get used to wearing the mask and the whole thing, that might make it where you can sleep through the night and not have to get up 2 or 3 times a night to pee. I'm just saying. That's what happened to me. Belfast Bob, thanks for the chat. You guys are welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. People are leaving now just because I was leaving. I might be on for another 10 minutes. I don't know. Mr. Spock, they have to drop propaganda leaflets from the air telling the people to rise up against your authoritarian government. A. O'Connor says the non-stated goal was to knock Trump, Epstein out. Well, yeah, that's absolutely correct, A.O. That's absolutely correct. But I mean, as far as at least for the pretext, or at least, have we met the goal? MJ Daniel, quote, I destabilized the entire Middle East. Give me the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah. Vincent Owen says that shitboat is the one they're going to name after dumb shit. Yeah, that would be perfect. That would be perfect, Vince. Vicky Gordon says probably almost seasick, bus sick. No, not really. I've kind of gotten used to, at least like I have to sit in the seat. Like I've gotten it where if I put my feet kind of as forward as I can, and then when the bus is slowing down, because it always slows down and then it comes to this like abrupt stop and it kind of lurches you forward. So I've kind of got it timed now where I keep my feet kind of out in front of me, and I'm like pushing my back against the seat. It's a whole thing. Yeah. Sandy Foltz, I thought you only worked Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I thought you had off on Saturday. Well, I'm a part-time flex, so I don't. There's no such thing as on or off. I mean, I can work my own schedule, and the idea was to work Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Saturdays if I need it, and Sundays if I want to work extra hours to pick up extra money. That was the thing. So today is a Saturday to pick up extra money because I need it, and I need it. So, you know, I'm a flex. I can go in anytime I want. That's the great thing about being a flex. Mr. Spock, trucker's best weapon is the pee bottle. Anamore says, good to see you, TJ. And group chat, have a good day at work. MJ Danny going to 21st Century Suffragettes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you go over there, guys, say hi. Say Trucker John Raid if you want. I don't know. Let the gals over there know. I said hello. Hello. I go in there. I watch them all the time. So give me a shout out, won't you? To go over there. Aaron West, thank you very much. Posting we have channel memberships that start at $1.99 a month. So that's a great way to help support the show. We also have super chats. As we've seen today, we made our goal 5 of 5. So I appreciate that so much. I love it when we make the goal. I always set it at 5, and today we made 5. So thank you so much. And you can also help the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing. And those don't cost you a dime, folks. I don't know why people find it so hard to hit the like button and the subscribe button and the share button. Those are so easy to do. And I get a little frustrated, not just on my show, but I was watching Tara Devlin, I guess last night, and she got a nice House Sparks raid. And so because she usually gets kind of the numbers I get, 30 or 40 people watching, 50 people maybe. And of course, you get the raid from Hal, you get 200 or 250 people. Last night, she had about 250 or 260 at the peak, I think. And then only like 49 likes. And that's why I got in the chat last night, because I was working, but I was when I'm in the taxi lanes, I can go on. And I was like, come on, people, hit the fucking like button. It's not going to kill you. The like button's not going to bite you. Why are there 261 people in here and there's only 49 likes? What the fuck? I don't understand why people don't hit the like button. Do they not know the acumen? Do they not know the protocols of social media? I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to hit the like button. And you're supposed to hitting the subscribe button. What's wrong with subscribing? I don't understand why it's so hard for people to get subscriptions. If you've got 250 people watching, why aren't all 250 of them subscribing? Unless they just absolutely hate the show, in which they can leave. But I don't get why. I really don't understand why people don't like and subscribe or share, because I do all those things when I go on other people's channels, unless it's something that I just stumbled upon and I'm like just kind of checking it out. And I don't know. But out of 261 people, you're going to tell me that almost 200 were just kind of checking it out. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't get it. It's free. It doesn't cost you a dime. Like, subscribe, and share. And with that salesman's technique right there, I'd probably get a whole bunch of subscribers. I do see everyone's leaving now. 76 watching. But hey, thanks for that. You can help support the show by buying me a coffee at the Buy Me a Coffee link, and also we have the PayPal account, which has come in handy lately. So thank for putting that up, Aaron. Mr. Spock, the TPP bottle episode. Vince Owens, he will hurt his votes too. Yeah, that's another thing. All this stuff about voter suppression that he's trying to stop mail-in voting, I think that's gonna hurt him more than the Democrats. By the way, even that they didn't pass it, but even that what was the one they were just trying to get passed, the safe vote or whatever it was called. I think that was going to end up biting them in the butt, and I think that's why the Republicans kind of did a soft removal from that, because I think they were finding out that that was probably going to hurt them too. I mean, there's a lot. If it's going to hurt Democratic women, it was going to hurt Republican women just as much. So, all these things that they're doing, I don't think are quite as detrimental to us as we think they are. I think it hurts them just as much. Mickey Gordon, bus aerobics, quite the workout. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Mr. Spock, what's your ride numbers this week, TJ? I forget, 35 or something. Yeah, I didn't get my goal. My goal is 45. I might make the goal tonight. DBD says, TJ, would you make more money if you were working full time, and what would the hours look like? Yeah, I would make more money. It would be 12-hour shifts for 5 days a week, which I have no interest in doing, especially with no car and relying on the buses and driving. Being on the buses 4 hours a day plus doing a 12-hour shift, that's 16 hours. Coming home, I don't know. You barely have time to shower and eat and try to get some sleep. So no, that wouldn't work for me. It would probably, because I am on Social Security now, so it would probably, I would probably make too much money, and I would probably lose my Social Security. Okay, I'm just looking at the chats here. Yeah, MJ Daniel says, how many Republican voters would show up and be told they are not registered? That would be wonderful to watch. Okay, so let me just go back. I'm going to thank everyone real quick before everyone leaves. We're down to 74. So before everyone leaves, I just want to say thanks to all the contributors. Michael McAndrews, $2 super chat. Said, let's go. Is Dumpy Trump in prison yet? David Weiss was in here for becoming a member. Thank you, David Weiss. Sandy Foltz, a $2 super sticker. Fancy, wow, it's Fancy, $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Fancy. One Vision with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, One Vision. I appreciate that. And Damon Dog with the $4.99 super chat where we made the goal. Thank you, guys. You don't know how much I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. And every one of you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. We're at over 4,350 subscribers, and I would really love to have 100,000 subscribers. I know that sounds crazy, and I know maybe I have to do more in order to earn that type of subscription base. Someday, the goal is always to improve the show, improve the quality, improve the content. I've been working on it in my own slow little way, trying to get better and better. And I'm hoping that someday I will be able to earn your subscription. I guess, even though it's free, to do it, there is a matter of like I think one of the things the hesitancies of subscribing, because now that I think about it, I don't really subscribe to everybody, because maybe I don't want them in my algorithm. You know what I mean? Like there might be a show that I'm watching that doesn't really align with a lot of my views, so maybe I don't want to subscribe to them. You know, because I'm afraid that maybe that will maybe get more shows like that showing up in my feed, I guess you call it, the feed or whatever, the For You page and all that kind of shit. So I can understand how I guess there are hesitancies to subscribe. But I'm hoping that I can earn your subscription, even though it's free. And I really would like to be at 100,000. And maybe that's a lofty goal. Maybe I'll never see it. But a few years ago, I never really thought I would be at 4,350 subscribers either. I mean, not that I didn't think that I would, but I started off with just literally a handful of people, and so now we're at 4,300. So we've come a long way, but I really would like, I would love to get to 100,000. I'm almost embarrassed to say it because it sounds like, like who the hell am I to think that I could have 100,000 subscribers? But I would love to get there, So anything that you guys can do to help, as far as like liking, subscribing, and sharing, I think that helps get the show out to out in the algorithm, out in the feeds, and then maybe people will hit the only way they'll hit the subscribe button, I guess, is if they see the show. So anything you guys can do to help me get to, whether it's 20,000, 50,000, 75,000, 100,000 subscribers, would be great. Right now, let's just try to even get to 5,000. Would be great. So thank you. I do see we got to 100 likes today, so thank you guys so much for hitting that thumbs up button. I do appreciate you for that. That's pretty awesome. Mr. Spock says, I once sold a 1,000-liter water tote to a guy who was in the production of Trailer Park Boys. Bought it for $100 and sold it to him for $250. Look at you with making flipping that bottle, making a good flip there. MJ Daniel, I had a security job in the 80s. It was 12 on, 12 off for the first month, a night job, 6 p.m., 6 a.m. That sucked. DPD has great to see you again. TJ, great show. Have a good day. Thank you. Thank you, DPD, for being here. I always appreciate your input. I really do. Very thought-provoking stuff, that you contribute. So I'm always glad to see you here. Lightfoot 2000, you're the best. I don't know if you're talking about me or someone else in the chat, but thank you for being here, Lightfoot. I appreciate you. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share. Vincent Owens Bumps, a line of coke. Are you that far behind, Vince, in the show? Because we were talking about that way early. You might be watching from earlier in the show. I don't know. Biggie Gordon, there is power in manifesting 100,000. Think it, be it, dream it, be it, make it happen. I don't know, something like that. All right, guys, you guys are awesome. If there's anybody still here that hasn't really watched the show before, sometimes we do have special guests that come in, though. Actually, you talking about me? Am I a special guest, Trucker John? How sweet. How sweet of you to think of me as a special guest. Well, Trucker John, you can take your special guest and you can shove it up where the sun don't shine. Special guest my ass. I'm Tough Cookie. Nobody calls me special. Anyhow, thanks to everyone for being here. I'm not that tough. I still would like to thank everyone for being here. I don't know. Just felt like I should do it. But I didn't do it like that. I mean it. I'm tough, but still I still like to say things, if that makes any sense. All right, special guest. I guess I am special. There's also me. Don't forget about me. I'm Paul, the purple beard guy, with my lovely, sparkly purple beard. I like to pop in from time to time also, and just say hi to all the sparklers that came in earlier, and to the trucklers, and just to everybody. And I hope you guys have a great day. I know it's tough. It's tough. Have a great day. That was not some sort of secret message, by the way. I had a little itch on the nose. And then for some reason, I kind of went like that. That was not like some secret message. I don't want anyone to go like, "Oh, what was that? What did that mean?" Did that mean like I'm really like a secret MAGA or something? I don't know. I don't want anyone to think that, because I'm not. I'm not secret MAGA. I hate MAGA. They hate me. I hate them. It's reciprocal. Someone said reciprocal earlier. I believe it was Trucker John. So, there's that. But yeah, and again, and I also like to just thank everyone for being here. You guys are awesome. Hit that subscribe button. Trucker John is always just going around going, "Will I ever see 100,000? Will I ever see it?" It is something on his mind. So yeah, if you could just hit that, but only hit it once, because if you hit it like more than once, then I think it would unsubscribe you. I don't know. Just hit it the one time, and then tell everyone you know to come over and subscribe. That would be great. All right, thanks for being here. Yeah, look at there. We had some special guests. And again, thank you guys for being here. I do appreciate you. So the only thing left that we have to do on the show is words of wisdom. If there's anyone new left here, we've only got 66 watching. But by the way, 66 is my favorite two-digit number, not 69. Now, when I asked that on Liberal Dan's show, of course, Liberal Dan's dirty, gutter brain immediately went to 69. No, my favorite two-digit number is 66. Oh, now we're at 68 watching, but that's cool. But the thing if there's anyone that's still left that hasn't really watched the show before, and you're not familiar with the way we do things here, the way we end the show, we usually end this with me doing some words of wisdom. And as I've stated, there are some people, they say they write this down. They're so impactful and helpful in everyday life. So you might want to get a pad and a pen and write these down for today's words of wisdom. Okay, you ready? Okay, so first of all, guys,
well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, it's time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food and movies and bugs, shining a light on all the social issues. No shows, I've driven through the desert, seen the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. In my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. So you want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love. It's all about the thrills, it's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows. So go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. So damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life. Everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot. You're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Show's over. I'm out of here, folks. Bye.